Thinking. Hello, and welcome to Spirit Soul Sense Information for Your Soul. I'm Shareece. I put Dr. Shareece because why not? And welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. I have with me Germain Ray. I was gonna do a little bio, but the way my channel is set up, y'all understand me. Forgive me. This is a man that I've known for many years. We met on a job. This was like my first real psychology job. And he was the chef. He's been doing cooking for such a long time. This is back in St. Croix. And we have maintained our friendship because then
Yeah.
eventually we both ended up in Miami and spent some time there. Right now he's living in Virginia and I think back and forth.
No, no,
I'm
not
Virginia.
Virginia. Sorry,
Where is it?
Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. Pen,
Pennsylvania. Why I
yeah,
said Virginia?
Pennsylvania. You
Pennsylvania.
always, you, you
One
always
of
say,
those
you always say that.
Slovenias. In my mind, I know somebody else who went to Virginia.
No,
Um,
I was
you
living in
wasn't.
Virginia for a minute. Yeah, I was living in Virginia for a minute. Yes, I did.
You were living in what?
I was living in Virginia for a minute.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
I guess that's why. Yeah, you ended up moving around more than I realized.
yeah.
Okay,
Don't say it like that, though.
live your life. Live your
Yeah,
life, whatever.
it
Uh,
was. It,
but you're also back and forth between St. Croix because you have like projects that you work on and people you collaborate with. Am I correct?
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's fabulous. Is there anything you would like to add about who you are before we get into today's topic, which is fatherhood and co-parenting?
Hi, everyone. My name is Germain Ray. Some people do know me as Elston. That's mostly like family and close friends.
Yeah.
Um, I am a native of St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and I am the proud son of um, a, a woman that worked for education for 35 years.
Wow.
Everybody know her as Miss Joseph, and my dad worked for Vitelco for many years, Roy Ray. Um, I'm a chef. I'm a parent. I'm a foodie. I'm a lover of everything that comes from where I'm from and the people that where I'm from and around the world. So, you know, don't mind that you see me going back and forth, Shareece, Dr.
Okay.
Shareece. You know, my home is
Being
my
so
home
funny.
and that's the Virgin Islands. I'm a proud
Okay.
parent of four, 3 girls and 1 boy. Same parents. No, I don't have no outside children.
Okay. Well,
So,
I'm happy to hear that because we know how Caribbean men are.
well, we gonna judge them a little bit too much because we still have those that have some of the essence and beliefs and morals that is necessary to become the greatest
That's
of them
true.
all. So,
True.
we
Okay.
come from a place that mesh that in us and we should use it as much as we can.
I agree.
But
I
in a nutshell, I'm a chef. I'm a family guy. I'm a big family guy because I come from a big family. You know, um, and I just love everything that comes out when it comes to my culinary field. You know, I really believe that because of that, it definitely teaches you that if you put your work into anything, it's going to be flawless.
yeah. All right then. Thank you for sharing. Uh, okay, so
Thank you
Jermaine
so
and I
much.
laugh a lot when we get together.
Yes, we do, Kyle. We share some real good, like respectable good. I have to say it
Yeah,
like this to folks because folks do tend to believe that a woman and a man can be very close and very good without it being
right,
something very intimate or sexual
right.
or stuff like that. You know what? If you want to say that we're intimate in knowing each other, very much so. So
Yeah,
that
I
makes
think
it very, very good.
yeah, there is intimacy in friendships. And you don't, I mean, I have been able to transition some of the people I've dated into friendship. That's not the case here, just like for transparency. but I think on my channel people understand that I have several men in my life who are really good people, and it doesn't all have to be romantic men, right? I have male mentors, right? Like father figures who I've had in my life. I have friends, platonic friends, lifelong friends, as well as like people who want to, take care of me. So
You know what? I ain't gonna say I ain't one of the people that wants to take care of her, but I have taken care of her love for food.
you have, yes,
So
yes, yes. And so
yeah.
like one of the ways we bonded, because really I'm a fat girl inside.
Oh yes, she is, people. Yes, she is.
And
Yes.
it's really by the grace of God that I don't. I'm not. I mean, also because I do proportions, but I am a foodie and I love to eat. And so people who love to eat need to learn how to cook. So that was like I had to learn how to cook.
Well, you understand that concept. Not
Yes,
everybody. You
not everybody
understand that
does. No,
concept
but
that if you love to
yeah.
eat, you have to
I
love to
love to
cook.
cook, and Germain
Yeah.
is a fantastic chef and has given me so many pointers in the kitchen for like maximizing Caribbean cooking and food and all that stuff. So I'm really grateful to have you here. I'm really thankful you said yes to this so that we can have a conversation. I really want more of these conversations to exist like in real life and on my platform where it's like there are lots of great men,
Yeah.
right, who are open to having conversations like this. Well, I wanted to. This wasn't one of the questions I shared with you beforehand, but I'm curious about your divorce, right? It was one of the
Yes, that
first
was one of
surprising
yes.
things about you. I don't know why it was so surprising to me, but like at that time, my
Yes, it
mind
should have
was
been.
kind
It
of
should. No,
like
no, no. You're right. You no. You're right to describe
I
it
was
as
like
it being
putting people in
surprising.
boxes, and I was like, "You're a great person." In my mind, like you wouldn't be divorced because I like had an idea of what like divorced people were like, and I was like, "But you're so like cool and fun loving. How you could be divorced?" It didn't really make sense to me. But like, how has being divorced changed what parenting looks like for you?
Well, like you said, you really you know me well because that was never something that I wanted to do. That was never something that was ever a plan that when I made that step in my life that I'm going to go backwards or
Yeah,
I'm not going to follow through or anything else like that because like I said, following through is a big deal for me. And even though I have been divorced for such a long time, you will never tell that I've been divorced. It will it will never show. It was never shown. People on the outskirts never known that I was divorced because I still spent a lot of time with my children and mom. We still went back into our relationship afterwards after our divorce, and been back and forth with that aspect. I've been back and forth with that aspect because
yeah.
I know for myself that I did not want it to be that way. So, and then I started to have children you know so so surprisingly especially after my divorce you know majority
Y'all
of my
continue
children
to have children after the divorce.
yes we did so so thanks to you people could finally have a very highlight of Jermaine's life because people people tend to have this magical fairy type, I don't know what to call it, image of what, my when it comes to my parenting life and me
Mhm.
being a husband and a divorcee and a co-parent and stuff.
Yeah.
People that don't really know me, they start to characterize me in these different aspects that really is not me. And, really and
Okay.
truly, it never did bother me because I still played my role and I still was around. I was still tried to be around and stuff like that. But divorcing my ex-wife for whatever reason I did was not something was planned. It was never. I always saw my mom as a strong single parent,
Hmm.
raising her children on her own, working for education. She was in making her big dollars and stuff like that. You should know your mom works in education too, don't she?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
30,
So
I think it's
I'm.
33 years.
My mom did 35.
Yeah.
So just to be able to meet the quarters that they wanted to meet, but seeing her um be so strong and keep doing it, never she never stopped. She did it on. She kept going. So It was never a plan for me to find someone in my life and put them in a position where they have to work hard, So especially when it comes to in a relationship, I really don't feel like being in a relationship is to just be one person doing 80 and the next person doing 20.
Right.
I think you guys, you definitely get more out of life and out of the relationship if it's neutral, if communication, if understanding, if everything is neutral. I'm not trying to save while I use your money, or you're not trying to, save while you use my money.
Hmm.
We're watching each other like we're silly when it comes to sharing the bills, and you know, or
Yeah.
we back in the 1950s where the wife raises the kids and the man goes out to their work, and then it's like you're raising children
Yeah.
all around because the wife don't feel like she's doing her part as somebody that could provide for the family too. So that was all the plans when it came to me wanting to be married, balancing the scale, keeping it neutral, being able to do all the things that we want to do, and then when we start to have children, we do with the children.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Together.
that was very important to me.
Okay.
Excuse me,
Okay. Sip, sip.
sorry. So
How
yeah,
what I mean, currently, right? Because you're not in the home full time.
no.
What percentage of time would you say you have your kids?
Well, the good part about the COVID was the fact where I came to realize that I'm in a position to be wherever need to be, want to be, even with my children,
Yeah.
because they're doing virtual school, they're doing this. I have time, the time that I didn't as a chef, especially within the seasons, you don't have time to do Christmas. You don't have time to do Thanksgiving. You don't have time to do Easter on the beach, living it up, having fun, eating all the local yums.
Yeah.
As a chef, you don't do that because why? You're usually the one working to provide the food that's going to these events.
Right.
So now your family and everybody's like, "Where are you? Why you not there? No, what's going on? Huh? What?" This is all the questions. So now when COVID hit, it was like, yeah, my kids are doing virtual. When I was in St. Croix, they was in St. Croix too. When I was here, they was here. They was spending time with the grandma in Florida and the
Okay.
aunties and stuff like that. So it was while I was moving around, they was actually moving around too. So
Yeah.
and trying,
Well, I mean, is COVID over? Are they back in-person school now?
well, partially,
Partly.
partially. So there's days they partially. So there's days that they're like 2 or 3 days out the 2 days out the week, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
They're in school, and then the others virtual. So yeah, that stuff there. We're not going to get into that. That's politics for me.
Politics. How would you describe your parenting style?
Well, I'm not going to. My parenting style comes with trying to acknowledge a new world, but still trying to keep the old world, old
Okay.
school. You know, so that's where I try to do my work at, where I try to understand the new world and what's coming up, and staying in tune and staying involved and evolved into that situation. I still try to keep the things that made me become a bigger and better person, man, etc., etc. And that's the morals and the understanding and a lot of things that it's being lost in this time. So I
Being
figured
lost
that
in this time? What?
in this
Tell me
these
more.
you know no,
What's
listen,
lost? Where? What?
yeah, because like okay, I have children. I have a 16-year-old. You have a what, a 14-year-old, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of, I mean, for him, it might be a little bit different because he's a boy, it's a girl. I have a girl, which is, it is what it is. Is they're going through the different stages, and and everything in this time is weird. This, I don't, what, that's weird. That's everything for them is weird. That anything that a parent have to tell them about is that's weird. but
They
then they're out,
challenge, yeah,
yeah, but then they're out there making weird choices and doing weird things, you
exploring.
know. Like, yeah, exploring, exactly. So yes, exactly, exploring. So there's nothing wrong with being with them exploring, but when they're exploring and not being vigilant or being, paying attention to what their surroundings and actually feeling out people for who they really are, then they put themselves in a predicament, and then we have our children where it's they're having anxieties and they're having all these issues with them at such a young age. You know what I'm saying? They gotta see therapists, they gotta see all these different kind of stuff because they are ain't only you have to be concerned about what's going on at home. You have to be so concerned about what's going on outside, and that's where they want to
Yeah,
be
but
all
I feel like
away.
at our, when we were teenagers, we could have benefited from therapy as well.
Yeah, we could have, and it's more. It's sad. It might. I don't know if it's sad. It's just. It's not sad to say because people think therapy is like so bad. It's not bad. You understand? It's not bad,
Right.
people. It's not a bad thing. And
Yeah,
believe me, yes.
clearly,
It,
I advocate
mm,
for therapy all the time, and it doesn't have to be like a major crisis or a major
no, it don't.
trauma.
No, it don't. It's
Yeah,
just where you have somebody that could be neutral, somebody that could have a different understanding, put it in a different perspective,
right.
all these different elements that you're not thinking about because you're the one that having the issue, you
Hmm.
know. So, being open to things like that is not a bad thing. And that's where it goes where co-parenting, being a man, being from the Virgin Islands, look at your eyes. It's like, yes, yes, yes. Like, we're there. That's yes,
Making
you
points.
know.
Points are being
But
made.
me and a friend of mine had a conversation. Well, she put something on Facebook and I responded to it. And it was more saying, like, why man feel, don't quote me, but it was in this kind
The
of way.
gist of what
Where,
you received from
yeah.
the post was
Well, it wasn't a gist, but I want to say it, but I don't want to quote it the wrong way. But
okay.
basically, I was talking about why a man feel like is wrong or hard or etc. to cry or express the feeling to a woman. And one of my responses was, no, you have to think about the spectrum of where we're talking about these guys coming from. Now, if we're talking from where I'm from, I could speak on that behalf, and I could say that we they wasn't raised that way.
Right.
They wasn't raised to be able to speak on their feelings because back from where I'm from, if you speak on your feelings, oh, use that softy, you're gonna use a term that they usually use,
Right. They use
you know,
terms that describe a woman to insult
yeah.
men.
Exactly. So
Make it
you
make sense.
wasn't you were shy to talk about your feelings. You were shy to cry when something happened to you or hurt your feelings or stuff like that. Or because of that, suppressing that, it was hard to communicate and to speak because your feelings is so bottled up that now you're speaking. It's like rah 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 rah. And
Right.
then and I realized that when I moved to the States that it wasn't just
Uh,
man.
It's worldwide.
Because even when it comes to our passion, being from the Virgin Islands, being from St. Croix, when we're so passionate about something, when we speak about it, it sounds so aggressive because we're so accustomed to suppressing how we feel about things
Mhm.
until we like, no, we ain't taking it no more. We're gonna, and now we're going full blown, and the accent comes out, and it's like it's over. So the folks from the mainland, they don't like, okay, you can't understand anything he's saying. That means he is pissed off.
Oh
And
my
sometimes it's
God.
not that you're pissed off. It's just that you're expressing yourself, and the way you're expressing yourself is so co-parenting comes. I never thought or never understood as a child how a man could not par- participate in the raising of their children, and especially when you live in right on the same island.
Yeah.
I never understand that.
People have
So
issues.
one of my things growing up, I was like, that's not gonna happen with me. I'm not gonna have that. And that was why I had so much back and forth with my ex-wife.
Yeah.
going back and forth so long and for forever, and we've been having children because that's that mindset that I had that there's has to be some way that this could be possible to go back the way it needs to be for even not just for ourselves but for the children.
Right. I want
But
to go back to what you were talking about earlier about men and not being raised a certain way. I do think that's changing because I think about the way I raised my son and women my age who are wanting to do things differently or parents. There's lots of couples
yeah,
who are wanting to instill emotional intelligence in their kids.
yes,
And
yes.
so I think this is a good time to ask about like what was it like for you to be parented, especially on an island with parents who are from the islands. Like what's your relationship like with your father? How would you describe like
Oh, so
his parenting? Did you learn? Like when did you learn? This is so many questions, but like when did you learn
no,
to
it's not
think
because
about
it's so ironic because growing up, me and my dad, we didn't have the best relationship, and I was that inquisitive child that you say don't do that, and he's still going to do it. So I used to, I was that child that the rat was never spared,
yeah.
right? You know, and I have one son, and I look at that part of my life and try to utilize it to help him in this time, but not moving forward too fast. I mean, me and my dad didn't have the best relationship. The only communication my dad and me had growing up was him coming to reprimand me when somebody else tell him that I was out of place or whatever, or when the time that I was actually out with him and I did something and that was it. But other than that, even when I was out, he was so involved in doing other things, you
Mhm.
know. So it wasn't like where you're taking me or us and it's you and I and him and his children alone. It was him and his other children and from his marriage and his wife and stuff like that. So he still was doing the family thing and still trying to do the co-parent thing. So we all know how that could be sometime. So
I
so when it became a point where by the time I got to be in junior high, you know, I was not it didn't make any difference anymore. That was the last time. That was the last straw. That was just the end of it. That was the last time that he actually came up to the school or came to deal with a situation, and that was just the last time that we had any interaction after that, because I moved on and and then I ended up moving away to school and stuff like that. When I was away to school, my great aunt, she lived in the same state that I was going to school at, and I used to visit her. My mom was back home, and she was still being a single parent, working and stuff like that. And I'll go visit my aunt, and she would always encourage me to reach out. So I always did that because of her. Because I mean, at that time I was done old enough to understand like I'm putting too much effort as the child. I'm putting too much effort.
right.
So I still, because of the elder, and because of the elder wisdom, and you recepting and you receiving something that the elder is telling you. This is my great aunt. She was like my mother when my mom was raising up. So, I'm the respect that I have for her, I take that into whole. So I reached out, I give number, I give address. I lived in the States, and while I was living there, she said the same thing. That her sister said the same thing. Her other sister said the same thing. So, and they had their differences about him, even though they still encouraged. And I did that, and it never worked. So it came to a point where it was, if he wants to be involved, the door is open, but I'm not doing the work
Yeah.
you know. So ironically, just a couple of months, we had spent some time together,
Oh
and
yeah,
we
yeah.
had,
You were telling me
yeah,
this.
and we had that conversation because really and truly, I came to understanding that once I became a man of my own, that there's nothing that he could do for me at that time. You
Mm.
understand? So is the only thing I said to myself is that the only response when I started to have children, it was my responsibility to have him have a relationship, allow him to have a relationship with his grandchildren, and to build a relationship that he didn't build with me with them.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I never neglected that aspect of life, And if I see him, I still respect him. I still greet him as, dad. I never even come to the point where I call him by his first name. I call him dad no matter what, even though the situation. My siblings always told me, "Oh, you need to have a conversation with your dad or rekindle whatever it is that you have or whatever." I never, I never had a problem because
Yeah.
I acknowledge the whole life changing situation. I've become a man. I'm a man of my own, so
Mm.
I don't hate him. I understand. I accept it and I put it where it needs to be put, and in understanding as a man,
Yeah.
and just not I make sure that I don't do the same things with my child, my son, or even with my children. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Like,
So
depending on how we're parented, it can really inform how we decide
yeah,
on.
exactly how it depends on how we accept it, how we take it in, and stuff like that. And if we don't have the right mental to take it in
Mhm.
to put in a positive place, it could be put in a negative place.
Right.
Point blank. Period. You know.
Yeah.
So, and I found the positive in it because my mom, she never was that bitter single mom where she's just having all these conversations in front of her children about their dad, these
Right.
negative conversations. My mom never did that. I never, as God is my witness and my children's life, I never saw my mom
Yeah.
talk bad about my dad.
Which I
You
think is
know.
so important. So
hmm
then, if you, where did you learn manhood from then? How did you decide this is what I want to be as a man?
Well, my inquisitiveness was what made me very vigilant about life and trying to understand life, because you know um I understood that my mom was working hard and she established a home for us, and she taught us how to be responsible. So
Hmm.
I mean, that was one thing that she did that, that made a difference in my life all the way, being responsible. She taught us how to be responsible in a lot of ways, especially when within the house, respecting each other, respecting boundaries, all these different kind of stuff. So that was a help. But then there was other guys, and I lived in Mamiju, and there was when I lived in Mamiju, it was a community.
Okay.
It was community based. All right. I mean, we looked out
What
for each other.
changed? This is a
Huh?
sidebar. What changed?
I really People stopped being a community. That's what changed.
But why?
I I think I think because people started to move away. Children started to finish school, or children saw other opportunities instead of being home and flunking from school and
Brain drain
not.
happened. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense. This is just a side because I have questions too about the state of things back home. The brain drain was happening, and then I think the people who are left are not the brightest. And then, but they still need to make money, and so we've had an influx of like drugs and guns moving through, and then gangs it increased. And then how is it a
And
community when
and
it's so violent?
that's the biggest thing that really bothered me is the fact that how not like you said on sidebar, but how you and I raised up. We've been having sleepovers. You come over to my house, I go over to your house. We used to play sports together, all these different things. And then the minute I'm gonna be frank right now, excuse me, the minute our bars drop and we start to get some bush, we enemies on the street and we want to kill each other. And then when we get killed, and wait, when we get killed, and then when you go to the funeral, what happens? All the elders that raised the two of us is there, and and you guys didn't have realized because you guys forgot that how close you guys was, that you guys was kind of almost related,
Family,
because
yeah.
yeah, family. And now these two family, they're there, and they've been good. They raised you, the both of y'all. You understand?
Hmm.
Come by my house. My parents look. We go on summer breaks together. We do things together. We're
Yeah.
going camping. We're going to, back then we're going to the beach. We're going camping. We're doing things together. You know what I'm saying? Back then, your brother, if, I don't know, you have brothers? You have brothers? No, you don't have brothers. Sorry. No, these are girls. But I mean, if you have guy cousins, they go out and they ride in horse and they ride in the bike to the alley, and you the guys in the neighborhood. We're going and ride out and in the bush to pick mango. We're going to the beach and come back home. And our parents don't be so concerned because we're going to come back safe. And if we don't come back at a certain time, we're going to suffer a consequence. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, we did things. Now they're not doing that. They're not. It's not happening that way, and that's sad. It's very sad.
It is sad. It is
It
sad.
is
And
sad. It's sad.
things rough, my son.
No, I mean it could be better if we go back to that base, that community base, and
It,
not
it would
not.
probably it would probably also improve if we went back home full time.
Yeah, that's true.
People
That's
like
true.
us who have
But that's
left.
why that's another thing. The encouragement I was going to say. That was the thing. When we came, because I know, listen, everybody that I know that moved to the mainland, when I moved to the mainland, they became successful, and all the mainlanders around them brag about them.
Yeah.
Brag about them. You understand? You go to school, you have a group of island in front of school, and every single one of them that whatever trade or whatever work experience that they're in, they're the top of that class. You understand? Make it be carpentry, cooking, electrical, painting, anything, technology, everything that
Yeah.
we did. It brought so much attention, and they had news coverage over it and all kind of stuff like that in DC. But I mean, we have all the skills. We have, and our nature comes with customer service comes straight out of it
Hmm. I mean,
because
there's
we're a customer.
levels. There's levels. And so I
Yeah,
just want to highlight there's a certain person who leaves the island and says that they want to, take advantage of the resources that America has to
yeah.
offer. And then there's
But
certain
listen,
people who do
no,
not leave.
no. And there is people that leave to take the wrong advantage of America,
Mhm.
and
But that's not most. I don't think that's most at
no,
all.
that's not most. No, no. You have very few,
Just a
and
few.
that's a good thing because we do have a strong, good image in the mainlands
We
when
do. We do. Somebody told me,
when
but
it
anyway,
comes to.
that's the sidebar. Let's get back to parenting. Let me see.
Okay, so I mean, being co-parenting,
Yes,
you know,
co-parenting
straight
for
straight
children.
point, straight to the point. Co-parenting, I have come to understand that co-parenting is not easy. It is not going to ever be easy if we do not use the terminology co-parenting. Co. It said circle that keyword. Co-parenting, meaning that since we have a male and a female on the screen right now, we're co-parenting. So that means you and I gonna have a conversation that's pertaining something about our child, our children, whatever it is, and we're gonna try to come to some sensible agreement. We're
Yeah.
gonna agree to disagree. We could do that. We're gonna agree
Mhm.
to disagree. That's still part of co-parenting too, you
So,
know.
what do you all discuss? Because I'm just thinking about like in my co-parenting situation, I probably make 90% of the decisions.
Because I could probably say why I could feel that you will make 90% of that. Because I mean, from the person
Do
I
I
have
always
known, I've
make?
met, you always take 90% control of everything that you do.
Excuse me.
And
I am a
and
leader.
okay, yeah. But sometimes a leader could be stepping that 10% wrong way and don't still need to acknowledge that. You understand? You
Okay.
know. So, you know. So
Yeah,
but
'cause I just yeah, I'm wondering what your percentage breakdown would
and
be
you
and
know what? That's a great thing to say too. Because especially I just yesterday sat down and I thought about it too.
okay.
And I was because even not just yesterday, from the time you reached out to me about doing this interview, I thought about some of the questions that you sent me because I looked at the question the same day you sent it. No, she for real,
You
real,
have
real.
to respond to the emails, Germain.
I know, but that was the best part about it because it would. I wanted to keep it very, very, very raw.
Okay.
Like without, yeah, I really wanted to keep it very raw, nothing practiced, nothing studied. People like could really have an essence of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if I realized I never understood why a man would step back and not deal with his children. We're going back to that and co-parenting. And something that made me realize that is when you have a woman that is a 90% leader, taking 90% of the way, and you have this guy that is, we don't have know how he was raised, so he could probably have this demeanor like, yo, I'm not going, she demasculating me, and
I know the
make,
business.
and I every time I try to say something, it don't make no sense. So why I gonna say? Why we gonna conversate? Why I gonna put myself in a position to be demasculated? And especially if you're dealing with a young man,
Okay.
if you're dealing with a young man, definitely, especially in in this time frame right now, where if they ain't reached 25 yet, oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know.
I feel like, so because my son is, turning 15, I feel like the co-parenting has evolved over his lifetime. Uh, and right now it's just different than it's ever been. That, I don't think I was always doing like 90%. Like when we were living closer, when we were back home, like it was definitely different. But now as a teenager and with some things that happened last year, it's just like, I can just do what I want.
And that's I know, and you know what, and I understand that even on my part too, like I was saying, I understand why some men just step back because they cannot deal with the challenge, they cannot
Yeah,
deal
it's
with
a
the.
lot of work.
Yeah, it is,
And
and
if you have
and you're a
multiple
woman. You're a
children,
woman, so you could definitely say how much work it is, because
yeah.
you guys could use your and especially if you're very intelligent, you could use your swat to swat very good.
Hmm.
Where even just your words by saying something gonna make that man feel like, oh, why, boy, she does the just tickle the wrong spots, but whatever I can say like that, but
You
I
know,
come
I'm
to
very,
realize that man in the Virgin Islands don't 90% of man in the Virgin Islands, so probably 95% of the man in the Virgin Islands, will not tolerate that kind of that back out that they're not going to sit to try to figure it out. They're not going to sit to try to weigh it out. They
right.
the stubbornness, and the understanding that they're a man and they're supposed to take a position. And that's another thing, like trying to demasculate a man from the Virgin Islands kind of a edgy thing, because some man could handle and deal with it, and some man, and I guess it's based on maturity,
What do you
whatever.
mean masculine?
Yeah, huh?
What do
Like,
you
I mean,
mean?
like oh, don't talk to me from my boys them, kind of way,
Okay.
that kind of way,
Yeah, there's a
where
lot of
it's
there's a lot of traditionalism and gender
yeah,
roles and conservatism
yeah, that's in that
application,
in that way.
which is why I feel like women are expected to take the brunt of parenting and taking care of the children back home, right? I don't think most women complain about that, right? Some women might be saying a
But I
little
have
bit more.
realized even just in my relationship, that when you have a strong man that wants to be involved, that wants to do it, and wants to be there, you
Yeah,
have that woman that is fighting you down.
she's
I'm putting it where,
being resistant.
yeah, it's where you have to feel like you're fighting to be in your children's life, you know,
Yeah,
and
that
even,
sounds like a similar story. I
you
feel like
know,
a lot of men will probably like relate to
and
that.
and if you're just even vice versa, if you're a woman or a man and you want to be solely involved in your children's life, and you're doing everything where you try to even keep it cordial with the next parent, and allowing different scenarios in your life, allowing different things where that the next parent themselves is beneficial to that too. You know what I'm saying? And you still have to feel like you're fighting to be in your children's life. That's wrong. But anyway, go, man or woman, it's wrong. I shouldn't. If
Yeah.
I want to be involved in their life, if I want them to, if I acknowledge them as my children and I want them to be in my life, and I'm doing the same thing, even to the point where I I'm neutral enough that you could come and talk to me if you have something pertaining in your life that you need somebody to talk about, even if it's a relationship you're having. You
Hmm.
know, that's
But
the kind of person I am.
why do you think they make it hard for the other
Selfishness, I
person?
think. It's selfishness, I think. I think it's selfishness. I really think it's selfishness.
They just want to keep the kids to themselves.
No, no, I just think it's just a sense of selfishness and control. Some people, and it goes with both sides, man and woman, because I see with myself in my relationship, and I see them. I have a friend in her relationship where it's both. It could be man or woman, and it's
Hmm.
pure just selfishness and having control. And people that are selfish and just want to have control, they don't consider nothing else. There's nothing else to consider. It don't matter what it is. I don't care what nobody says. I, Germain Ray, saying it that I feel, this is my opinion, that if you're selfish to a certain degree, to the point where you don't self realize you're being selfish to yourself. You understand? You're damaging yourself and you're being selfish to yourself and your needs and your wants and stuff like just being naturally just selfish out the door. You don't consider yourself, your unit, your children, who the next person or nothing like that. And some people just that's just what they
That's
do.
just how they are.
Yeah, that's
Just
just how they are.
they don't want to
Yeah,
improve.
and in that, and it probably might not be that they don't want to improve, but that's just their way of life.
That's yeah.
That's just the way they that's just any if they try to live a different way, it puzzles them, it puts them in anxiety, and it's too much.
So
It's too
you're
much.
saying that your co-parenting relationship has been stressful, like that you have not had access to your kids as much as you would like?
I would definitely say that I wouldn't say stressful, because if it was stressful, I think I would have died already.
We can experience stress without dying.
No, no. Listen. Listen, I am telling you, and the world out there that knows of that things, or they just okay, for the world out there that sees me and my children, mom, and engage and disengage and stuff like that, and think that they know or they see whatever, but just PSA, you could come to Germain, and Germain will give you the logistics of things. But moving forward, I strong to my decisions and whatever. Whatever I went through with my ex-wife and the back and forth, I dealt with it inside and whatever, because I made that choice to be in my children's life.
Okay.
Make it, even if it went dead shitty wrong, excuse my French,
Hmm.
or my Spanish or whatever you call it, but whichever way it went, it was definitely a learning lesson for me, because I want to be there for my children. I wanted to be there for my children, and in every aspect, and because of life and life differences, it didn't go that way. I have been that different man, that man that went to the end of the earth to try to make it be better than it was before. And I mean, I think you could share some of that, because you have seen certain things in my life. We have talked about certain things and stuff like that. But I made sure that I would not become one of your patients.
I can already tell how you that
Um,
friends can be.
So
But I see.
because I mean I know, listen, I am some kind of help, because I know she tried to make me a patient in some certain times, and it was
But
some type of help to her training. But I ain't gonna lie, I know that like I know that the wink wink,
oh please. Oh, I don't know
you
what
see
you're
you
talking
see the way
about. I don't
you see how
know.
she stroke her hair and turn her face, and I say, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know
And
what
she
you're
spoke
talking
to her hair. Okay,
about.
but yes, but I mean, I'm definitely. It's very hard. I'm still struggling with it. I mean,
Okay.
I definitely had to put. I have definitely come to the realization of when it comes to selfishness, and there's different stages, different places of selfishness, and there's a selfish person that could be selfish within a boundary where they still considerate of others and other things around them, and then you have those that just don't care about even themselves. You understand?
Right.
And
Yes.
when I say it in that aspect, I mean I have to be okay and be well to be able to be able to help my children and anyone around me that wants to be well. I cannot think about myself. I'm making sure that I'm okay
Yeah.
and try to help my children or try to help my sister or my brother or my friend or whatever like that. So I always keep that in mind, and I help that helps me deal with it. And this I think this is why I am always in a position where I try and I try and I try and I try again when it comes to the access of co-parenting. But excuse me, it is not easy.
No.
It's not easy if you don't have the communication. It's not easy if you're not willing to understand the next person, allow the next person to speak while you reset, and vice versa. Um, if it's not, you have to have just as much as I'm gonna respect you reprimanding the children, or the child. I'm gonna respect you. If we have differences, we're going to come in a separate space and we're gonna express that differences. We're not going to um jump in the middle when one person is scolding or reprimanding the child, and then when the table is turned, you're looking for that person to agree or support how you're
Right.
recommending or schooling a child. That's contradicting yourself and
Right.
contradicting the children's sense of thought. Point blank. Period.
Yeah.
I don't have to have a psychology degree to say that. There, I think that does make sense. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That
know.
I think those are great tips. That was going to be one of my questions. Those are great tips. I completely agree. I feel like communication is necessary, like across all forms of interactions with people. It becomes real touchy then in parenting because we all have ways that we want to do it, right? And if you all don't agree, then it's constantly going back and forth with this is how we're going to do it. Okay, well, let's meet in the middle, or
Yeah, or just step away and figure it out for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Reset. Come back around. But you can. We need to understand that mom and dad, we hold the same power towards our children. You understand? And we don't hold no different power to our children. Not that I was the seed and you was the carrier. None of that shit. No, excuse. Sorry. None of that. You know, it is about you understanding that we're trying to come to agreement to what's the best thing for our child. The best place, the best thing, the best. To make it better for them
right.
than even if we had it good, it makes it better for them. If we even if we had it bad and we had one little speck of where we enjoyed our life and we want to multiply that into our children's life, that's what we're doing. But
Yeah.
not multiplying all the bad and then just trying to lay goods every other time, whatever like that. No, no, I don't know. No, it's supposed to be equal. If I mean, and especially if parents are out there paying child support or supporting the children financially and stuff like that, but then they can't speak upon them or speak for them or help make choices for them. That's wrong.
Yeah,
That's wrong, 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 wrong.
that's
Yeah. And
definitely
we have, like I said, we have both women and men out there paying child support. So
right. Yeah,
let's not forget that. Okay, I'm not only, we're keeping it neutral.
yeah,
We try to keep it
yeah, yeah.
neutral.
Some people are selfish, and some people, are controlling or use their kids as a tool. Oh, be still, my heart, and you're
Sorry,
back.
sorry, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, some people use their kids as a tool, like to manipulate other people.
So and that's I mean, like, and why try to do that if you know the person is trying to if the person trying to help you, the person have your best interest, like genuinely have your best interest, trying to help you. Why is that necessary? That's
Yeah,
extra work. That's extra energy that is not,
people
that
have
is not needed.
issues.
You know. So why would you do that? That don't, that don't build another bridge for you. That only breaks
Right.
one. Breaks one. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And that's what we out here. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We community wise, we built being community. I mean, I couldn't walk down the street and not say good afternoon to our
Right.
elder. I couldn't I couldn't walk into the grocery store or whatever and not acknowledge people the way I supposed to acknowledge them or the way
Hmm.
I was raised to acknowledge people with respect.
Right.
You know, this is the important thing, and I think that our sometimes we as parents we are put in overwhelming positions We are put in an overwhelming position, and we try to do our best to raise our children. So we're out there working and still trying to live and stuff like that, and we're forgetting to keep the strong things that allowing them to still go down, work and have and provide for the children, which is
Mhm.
morals, understandings, and stuff like that. We're forgetting to install it at home.
Right.
So our children are home raising themselves and stuff like that, and then we're concerned about what's going on. They're raising themselves. We're not there to install these things that we need to install. We're not, you know, all the parents out at work at the same time. The children home by themselves. By the time you get home, everybody we're trying to settle down to go to bed, whatever like that. Where where we had the time? What the time was? Where the time was for moral understanding, like conversation to build communication skills. Where are those? I remember we used to call it quiet time in my house, but basically, it was no devices, no TV, none of that. It's books, puzzle. Is that we playing a game together? We playing the word game. We
Yeah.
playing, we're doing things together. You know what I'm saying? And that build communication because we share opinion, we share differences, we
Yeah.
do all of that stuff when we do that. So we had days where we do that, turn everything off, radio off, you know, devices off, whatever, whatever. Are we there playing cards? I'm playing Uno. We're playing different things. We interacting. You understand?
Yeah.
Now try to interact with a teenager, and that's not going to happen. You're off screen,
Yeah, I just realized.
but that's something that we need to and especially with the economy where it is like now, that's even going to be a bigger issue with gas prices, food prices, all these different things going up. Parents going to be out there working harder, and the kids are going to be home, and then what's going to happen? Then we want to know why our kids are going through all these different emotions and challenges and all these different things. That's one of my biggest fight right now, where there is someone home with the children, a parent home with the children, when the next parent ain't available to be home with the children.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because then we have our children raising each other for 9 hours out of the day, and then by the time we come home, we don't deal with customer service, other people's emotions, all these different elements. We ain't coming home embracing our children. We coming home. Okay, it's hot girl
Sorry.
summer. Hot girl summer.
It is hot girl summer.
You
I'm
know,
sorry. I don't know. Today is like a technology day, yeah?
I know, right? And the bad part about it is I tried my best to be ready. I got all the devices and everything, and it was like God. But anyway, yeah,
It's all right.
it,
It's all right. I feel like we still had a really good conversation. I have one last question for you because I feel like you already touched on like giving tips to parents. Like the biggest, I think, and most important thing is like making sure the communication is there. But I was curious to hear your opinion on the Nick Cannon situation.
okay. So
Are you ready for this question?
no, I really don't follow the crazies
Okay.
things. I really try. I really try to if I hit if I like if it hits if I'm watching something and it comes on. I mean, I keep myself within the spectrum where I could communicate about things. I have very slim, like Kanye West, him, and somebody else. Who it is? Whatever, somebody else.
Where
You
you
know,
know what's going on with them?
I mean, I have a little bit of here, a little bit of there, whatever, like that. You know,
I
would
mean, I can explain to you what's going on.
yeah, you can explain to me about
I don't know
Kanye
all the
West.
details either.
Okay,
I think after, I think they kind of had a lupus scare. Like he had this lupus, and I don't think he almost died, but I think he got really sick.
yeah, I think I heard about that, about him
And
being
then
real sick.
after that, he
He started working out
had a bunch of kids back to back, or like at
with,
the same time. So like I think he's had like two or three women pregnant at the same time, and now he has eight kids by maybe five or six different
and
women.
damn, I still down in my Carey and stuff
I
like that
know.
situation. Like,
I
wow, I
think
didn't
his
have
heart was
no.
really broken after Mariah.
Well, probably he had a early midlife crisis. Probably, you never know. I,
Maybe.
but
Like
I
when you
know,
talk about
I know, I
men
saw
have
about him being sick, and then he started this workout thing where he had his own gym in his garage, and he was doing his workout. He was showing his what his
yeah.
plans are, his meal stuff and stuff like that. And he got real buff and stuff like that. Yeah, and stuff like that. But I don't. Yeah, but you could go ahead with your question.
Well, just men in general who have all these kids. Like just
Well, I
because you
have,
like you
I
say,
have,
like who's raising the kids if you're
yeah.
out working, but then who's raising the kids if you have them all over the place?
And that was one of my within the last 2 years. That was one of my biggest ooh, like really thing, because I have 4 children.
Hmm.
One is my eldest is by marriage, and I'm still that parent in her life. She's 16 now,
Yeah.
and then I have my other 3 children, you know, and which is 2 girls and a boy.
Mm.
So I have 4 children that I really um that I always constantly think about, and I always constantly think about their well-being and what's going on and how. Because one thing I definitely said that I was going to do is make sure that I'm very verbal with my children about feelings and communicating with them, letting them know how much I love them every time I can, and, not up to this day, my son is about to be 8 years old, and people might find it weird, you know, but my son will come to me and he was like, "Daddy, I want a kiss," you know,
Yeah.
and a hug. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's gonna come a time where he gonna find that to be weird. You know,
You think so? I'm not sure he will.
I don't know. It doesn't matter to me because once he don't have a problem with it, I don't have a problem with it because that's my son. You
Just
understand
the
me?
foundation you're setting that
Yes,
connection and care is
yes, yes,
and
yes. And it's
oh,
important. It's
yeah,
important to be able to express that even though that's your buddy, that's not just your brother by blood, whatever. But that's your brother by because you and him build a relationship. You can't tell him that, bro. I love you. You're
right.
my soul and stuff like that. You're my home. Be like if I die, this is you hold this in your hands. You understand? And that's like I had a conversation with my best male friend. I have 2 best male friends, and they know if something happens to me, they're responsible for my children. I
Hmm.
hold them so responsible for my children.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I respect them and I love them just as they are. Like they're my blood. Like we come from the same womb.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
mean, like my you know my children, I tell them all the time. I try to express that to them all the time. I embrace them. I try to make sure that they know that you could come to me about anything. We could talk about anything. You want to talk about a pimple in your booty? Come on,
right. Yeah.
let's figure it out.
Yeah.
It's affecting you. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
If it's affecting you, let's figure it out. There's nothing I'm shy about. They'll be like, "Oh my God, Dad, really? You don't think that's too much?" No, because somebody else is going to tell you, or somebody else is going to try to have that conversation with you, or you're going to put out that trust in somebody else. Who's better to put it in? Me,
Right. I agree.
because I
Yeah.
got to I'm making sure your well-being is at top notch. So definitely, like my son was just trying to come into the room while we was talking,
Ugh.
and I did say language. I'm like, yeah, I didn't say make no facial. You
Where are
probably didn't
you?
say, huh? I'm in
Where are you?
Pennsylvania. I'm in Pennsylvania. They're here.
Oh, it's summer.
Yeah, they're here.
That's nice.
So,
Oh, I'm so
yeah.
happy for you. Well, I'm child free this summer.
Oh, wow. Well, I was about to say something, but you know what? I ain't gonna put y'all like that. I ain't gonna put y'all like
What are you about to say?
that. You're the best parent ever. That's what I'm gonna
That's
say.
true.
You
That's true.
know,
And
our sisters should definitely, you could be a good encouragement to them, and they should
yeah.
reach out to you and touch some bases. Let me tell you something though, right? If that's sidebar, guys, sidebar. She's very strong, in everything she do. Like I said, so it might seem, like I said, we might our passion might
Yeah.
seem a little aggressive to some people, but the love is real. That's why. So
Yeah.
just
And I
remember
know,
that.
I don't know how many of my YouTube videos you've watched, but I think I've made it clear to people that I am human and,
And take quote her to that, please. She is
yeah,
human.
I am human. I don't have it all
Right?
together.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
have challenges just like everybody else.
No, that's what I'm saying. Each one teach one, and not
Yeah.
because and not and that's why I think we have even though that your study is and stuff like that. I don't feel like like you always trying to get in my head, but I know when you're trying to get in my head. You know what I'm saying? And I guess because I acknowledge who you are,
Yeah.
and I know how to, I just keep it. I know. I mean, we could talk about anything, really and truly,
Right. Yeah.
but I mean, I
Yeah.
know how to mentally put it towards my feelings and my thoughts and balance it out and different like that.
I think
So
I probably met you before I got my bachelor's or right after I got
yeah,
my, like, you know me all
no,
the time. So it's like,
yeah,
I'm just Shareece. Like,
yeah. So that's a good thing. So I know how gangster too.
yeah,
So
you do the things about
yeah, I know how gangster before she comes before she turned into the president. Like trials and tribulation, that's what makes people understand life better. You know what I'm saying? We gotta understand life. We scrape our knees, we get up, we figure it out. It's about not doing it in repetition, which I had a problem with. I was doing things in repetition the wrong way, and I thought I was doing it the right way because I allow my feelings and my emotions and my feelings to take the best of me because I thought that's the right thing to do because I'm considering the element of my children. But
yeah.
sometimes when you're thinking you're doing the right thing for your children, you're doing the wrong thing for yourself, what projects the wrong image to your children. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's something. And if I don't know if Nick Cunningham was having a life crisis, and I mean, with all the money that he has, I really do think that even if he have 22 children, he needs to be able to be there and be available.
How you have four? How easy is that? Like,
Well, it ain't easy for me, and I think I do very well, and that's what I'm saying. He have the resources. I don't have those resources. So
it's
the
still
when
can't be in more than one place at a time though.
I
So
know, well, he need to bring all of them together. He need to have some kind of communication with the parents and co-parent. Cause there's siblings now. They might be half siblings, but they're siblings, so they need to know each other. So that's his
is
responsibility.
Mariah going to let her children socialize with any of them?
Well, that's the problem. It's not about what she wants. It's about what relationship she's gonna allow the children to grow up with.
Okay.
You understand? Because they inflict
I feel like that's a sign that it's time for us to end the live stream.
that's gonna inflict their life and their relationship when they get older.
Yeah.
So that's what parents need to realize. Those children are gonna get older and they're gonna have their own life. What's gonna happen then? Well, is they that wasn't the right way? Oh, we're gonna teach them the right way and they're gonna project it and they're gonna follow through and it's
Yeah.
gonna go a long way for a long time. And that's where we need to come to realization. It's not about us. It's about the children.
It's about what's best for the kids.
Yeah. And a lot of parents will forget that. That's my child. That's
That's
my child. That's my child. My child. That's my child. Not this is our children, and we need
yeah.
to do it for our children. So what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? What are we doing?
Well, do you have any last words for the people before we close out?
Well, first of all, remember you have to live to learn to live, and stay humble. Because if you don't, the negativity is going to drown you, and you're gonna make the wrong choices. I always remember to consider the next person, project the same thing that you want to receive. This is an important thing. Keeping that energy in the correct place, so that we could have more enjoyable and enlightening, elevating moments like this. You know, where we go back to each one teach one and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. Don't forget that I am a chef, and I like to talk about food,
Yes, you do.
and I like to make sure that our folks and our family and our friends um, know that it not because you might think it's hard. Anything that we don't make back home, you can make it wherever you at.
Mhm.
Right, Shareece?
It's hard. It's not easy, but yeah, I guess.
No, it's just wanting it. When you want it bad enough,
You'll
it's not gonna
fight.
be
You'll
hard.
find a way to
It'll
get
be
it.
easy and it'll be good.
Mhm.
So I mean, like, just remember, respect make boundaries, respect each other's space, understand each other. Try your best to be neutral, and when it comes to co-parenting, it's not my child, it's our children, and we always supposed to have our best interest for our children, and
Right.
to elevate them into a place where they could have this moment where one could be a psychologist and one could be a chef, and we could collaborate and
Oh,
have conversation and share some love.
I love that.
Love alone.
Love
Yeah,
alone.
love alone. So
Love
yeah,
and
just check.
light. Love and light to you who has made it this far in the live stream to listen to this conversation with me and Mr. Ray Germain. You can find him on Instagram at germain.ray and on Facebook.
Yes, and you can get me on Facebook, Germain, Joseph, Ray Joseph. Which one it is? Some one of them.
Ray Joseph. I think
Ray
it's Ray
Joseph, yeah,
Joseph.
Ray Joseph. It's Jermaine Ray Joseph on Facebook. Yes, I have something coming up for you guys, because it might be mobile and it might be yummy and it could come to you and you don't have to worry
In
about
Atlanta?
it. Huh?
In
What was that?
Atlanta?
Yeah, it could come anyway. What I'm working on, I try to be able to come anyway because you
Okay.
see, I know how demanding you be guy, and then you got some folks in Tampa and I got some
I am
folks
not demanding.
you know, because when I'm telling you guys, they're getting the feelings when Chef G can't come true
Oh
with
my
with the
gosh.
recipes. You
It's
know
been
what
a
I'm saying?
long time since I've seen you. When are you? Well, I'll talk to you off camera.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah,
Stay tuned for the mobile units. If
yes,
you would
and
like
then check me out in St. Croix,
to check
under the
out,
gooseberry
yeah,
tree,
okay, check me out.
Ocean View
Check you out
Cafe,
in St. Croix.
under the gooseberry tree, Company Street, Christian
Okay.
said downtown. It was
Okay.
the old Harvey's restaurant.
Okay. I know
Yes,
what's up.
that's Mike is my brother. That's his spot, new spot. He still have Ocean View Cafe too, and there's more projects coming because he might be bringing back Pizza Marie. You never know. Just
People
saying.
are the giant.
Yeah, so Shareece, you probably got the first exclusive to a lot of things, yo. You
Thank
a
you for sharing.
star. You a star.
Uh, Check out my website, spiritualsense.com. I have my poetry book on there. I have merch on there. I have art on there. And if you would like to schedule spiritual life coaching with me, go to canonairspsychologicalcenter.com and request a session.
It's important. It's important, and it's young, fresh, and well rounded. So that's the best
Oh,
part about
gosh.
it, guys.
Okay. Thank you all.
Namaste.